kept marketing! With 3.6 of HSR right around the corner, earlier today, they released our upcoming character for 3.7, and with that, I would assume also our final addition to the Amphoria's cast, at least for now. And our final CHRYSOS heir. A character whom many have anticipated, no one's surprised, we all knew she was gonna be here. Amphorius' Saga of Heroes, Cyrene. I, to this day, think that her name is pronounced a little weird. Why do you pronounce the E? But whatever. Let's have a look at her first, before we read the description and everything. First of all, splash art. Ice Remembrance, our second one kind of in a row. We have March, or Evernight, Darch, October 31st, whatever you want to call her. And literally the next patch, we have her. Cyrene / Elysia, basically. I have seen many people very, very excited for her. And especially when we saw her in the Trailblazer, or the Deliverer trailer, the Amphoria's second half trailer, you know what I mean? People have been very excited. Some people have also voiced their criticisms about her design, which actually I do want to pull this up right away just to compare since we now have the full design here. Okay, this is the closest I could find, because I have seen people say that apparently Elysia in Honkai Impact 3rd already has a skin or an outfit that is very wedding dress-like, and they were, you know, kind of not quite on board with them sort of reusing that aesthetic. Personally, I don't really care. I think she looks very pretty. If this is the one they're talking about, then I think there's enough of a differentiation there. If there's another outfit that I couldn't find, then I guess let me know. But either way, I think she looks very pretty. Let me zoom in a little bit. I think she looks so pretty. I do like the colors of her design. I like those shades of blue and purple. I also like that her splash art has, I guess, what seems to be like several or different versions of herself. We have her as Cyrene, her as this one, I assume. This form of her. We have Mem there. And some people have already pointed out that if you put her and Finon's splash art together, they make an hourglass, which I think is a very interesting choice. Oh yeah, there's kind of like an arch here behind her. I love her shoes. Dude, her shoes are gorgeous. They're so pretty. What the hell? Does she have elf ears? I think those are elf. I think those are pointy ears. Pointy ears. Love them. Love that. Yeah, no, I think her design is very pretty. I love the chest part as well. I like the ribbon around her wrist here, which kind of seems like it's, I mean, that could just be like a little detail, it could not mean much at all, but it kind of looks like her ribbon is like tied in an Amphorius loop, at least around here, and I think that's also what it kind of looked like in the trailer. Yeah, I think she's very pretty. Now let's have a look at her description. Is this a meeting ordained by fate or a long overdue reunion? It's making my heart beat faster. Then please once again call me Cyrene, just like when we met the first time, okay? Ripples of past reverie. A meteor streaks across the night sky, sending ripples through the river of life, gleaming in 13 hues. Daughter of Ides Elysiae, CHRYSOS heir who nourishes blank. Sow the seed of memory, so that flowers of the past may bloom in tomorrow. And together we shall write a verse unlike any before. City, Ides Elysiae, and ? And divine authority, also ? Now, excuse my Mighty Mo's rotten brain, but the first thing I thought of when reading 13 hues, flowers of the past may bloom into this whole thing, y'all, I've been thinking about Mighty so much recently, as one does, and I cannot help but think back to the Golden Scapegoat puzzle, which has the phrase inscripted on it. I don't remember the exact wording, but it's something along the lines of the 13th shall return and remain as the first. And I don't know, with the 13 core flames that are apparently in the Deliverer trailer, now the 13 hues. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's something worth noting in my head. and I'm keeping that in mind somehow. But yeah, so obviously Elysia, Cyrene, sorry, gonna play a huge part in 3.7, and I am curious to see where her story is gonna go as well. I like Cyrene. She's not like my favorite character. I think she's fun, she's silly. And we also have learned quite a few things about her in 3.5, namely that she is essentially a memo sprite that is very closely tied to the Trailblazer themselves and to their memory. And Herda did warn her that if the Trailblazer ever forgot about Cyrene for even just a second, she would disappear. But Cyrene having implicated that that has already happened, which I don't know what to do with it right now, but I do wonder how we're gonna get from Cyrene, the memo sprite, the little creature, to this. And also how March ties into all of this, because of course March and Cyrene share a lot of similarities, as they themselves have pointed out and kind of joked around about. So I do wonder if this is like a thing of mini Cyrene and possibly March just being fragments of big Cyrene, if what else they could have going on there. We're probably gonna get more snippets in 3.6, more little details to try and piece together, and in 3.7 it's all gonna be revealed. Or maybe, I don't know, possibly, because I keep forgetting that we are already approaching 3.6 and there's only 2 patches left. And usually what I am used to is the last patch being somewhat of an epilogue of sorts. And I don't know how they're gonna do this here, if we're gonna fight Iron Tomb in 3.6 and then 3.7 is gonna be basically the aftermath, or if we're gonna carry the boss fight into 3.7 and then they're kind of gonna split it where, you know, one part is the climax and the big boss fight and everything, and then the last half or part of the quest is gonna be the like epilogue part, which I think would be a little weird. So I would assume that everything's kind of gonna come to a peak in 3.6, or we're gonna at least only start with the boss fight in 3.7, which would also be kind of, I don't know how they're gonna pace it, but we're gonna have to see. But either way, personally, I am not gonna pull for Cyrene. I am currently locked into saving. 3.6 is already a very dicey patch for me. I want Dan Heng. I kind of want Evernight, mainly because of her aesthetic. We haven't seen too much of her personality yet. All we know is that she's kind of really cryptic, so we're gonna have to see where that goes. But I do want Dan Heng, and hey, free 5-star, right? One more free 5-star, surely. At least one of them, right? But I think she's probably gonna be bringing a lot. She's probably gonna bring in a lot of revenue, similar to Finon. And they're probably gonna make her kid busted, I would assume. But yeah, that I assume is gonna be the only drip marketing for 3.7, and with that, we're only gonna get 1 5-star. Thank goodness. And surely that means that from 3.8 or at least 4.0 onward, we can finally return to a more balanced cast. By which I mean, you know, 5 stars and not 5 stars. By which I don't mean introducing 6 stars. But yeah, I am excited to see where the story goes with her and Amphorius as a whole and everyone. I fucking love this whole version so much. Let me know if you're gonna pull for her, for her Light Cone, for her Eidolons, for her at all. And yeah,